everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Tech Data Engineer. So today we will see Apache Airflow, like introductions and basic introductions, and why we are using Apache Airflow, and what was the benefit for that, and how to create the DAG and all these things. Okay. So first understand what is Airflow basically. So Airflow is a open source for authoring, scheduling and monitoring data pipeline. Okay. So why we are using Airflow? So Airflow is basically, suppose we have multiple pipeline. Okay. And if you wanted to trigger multiple pipeline based on certain, I can say, event, like one pipeline should run first, then other pipeline should run, and then like there are multiple pipelines or complex transformation we need to do based on multiple pipeline. So for scheduling purpose, basically we are using Airflow. Okay. So Airflow is developed by Airbnb, but later it was under Apache Software Foundation. And the then main thing is Airflow uses Python to create workflow that can be easily scheduled and monitored also. Okay. So that's why we are using in PySpark job, most of the time we are using Airflow for scheduling purpose. Okay. So now we will see why we are using and what are the scenarios. So here, as name suggests, Airflow is an open source platform used to programmatically schedule and monitor workflow. It allows you to define a sequence of tasks and their dependency. So that's what I already explained. Like if you have multiple pipelines, or you can say multiple tasks, then you can schedule your Airflow. So let us consider a simple example. Okay. So first we will define a task. Suppose we have three tasks. One is to paste the data from any API or any database. Okay. First task is to do that, and then other task is to process the data using PySpark. Process means like either doing some transformations or cleansing or pre-processing or doing data enrichment. So these all things come under second step, and then back to store the processed data into the database. So suppose we have three tasks, and for that three tasks we will create three data pipeline. Okay. So but there would be some dependencies also, because first you have to do first, you can say task one. So if task one is not there, then data is not there, data is not available in the stage to do some processing. So you can't do any transformation and all. So task 2 depends on task 1, and task 3 depends on task 2, because data fetching must complete before processing, like before processing we can start. Okay. And then similar way, task 3 also, task 3 is like store the procedure. So without processing we can't store the data. Okay. So there are dependency. So for running any Airflow, what we have to do, we have to first, you can see, we have to see that how many pipelines are there and what are the dependency and in the pipeline. Then what we will do, we will just create a DAG. Okay. So DAG is basically a direct acyclic graph. So direct acyclic graph is a graph where there is no cycle. Like one task is, you can say, acyclic dependent on other task. Okay. So in Airflow you can create DAG using Python. Okay, using Python code. So let us understand a simple example. Like from Airflow, what we have to do, we have to import certain things. So this Airflow installation under the Apache things and all, first you have to do that all. So see, for running your Airflow, so how we are using Airflow with PySpark, ensure like PySpark is properly installed. So for installing the PySpark, you have to install Java, Python and PySpark, and then you have to set the you can say their path, and then you can run the Hadoop bundle, you can install, and then you can do that. Okay. So then you ensure PySpark is properly installed and configured in your Airflow environment. Then you have to install the Airflow, and then PySpark you have to install, and then you start writing your own code. Okay. So here what we are doing basically, We are just we have what we have done, we have defined the task, like task is the pipeline, there is three pipeline, then we have set the dependency. So how we have to create the DAG, we have to, from Airflow we will import DAG, then from Airflow operator dot python operator import, we are importing the Python operator. Then we are date and time we are importing for checking the date, like what is the schedule date and not time. Then we are passing the default argument under that, like honor, who is the honor of that Airflow, start time depends on past, false, or retries, like how many try we have to do under if false conditions happen. Then we'll define the DAG, like data pipeline default arguments and all. What is the schedule interval, it is the daily or regular or something. Then we have three, you can say, functions. One for fetching the data, and that's we have defined fetch data, logic part we will write based on that. Then there is a defined process data, so whatever processing we will do, we will define a function here, then store data. And then based on these three tasks, what we will do, we will task with we will use Python operator, and then we will give the task ID, then whatever the collab there, and then we can define the DAG. So this is the simple DAG example based on the three tasks. Then we will for individual fetching the data, we will give the task ID, every task have the task ID, and then we will give the task ID, then their dependency with the stage. Similar with task process data, task store data, we will give their ID and all. Then here we will define the dependency also, like task phase data is dependent on task process data, store data is dependent on task process data, and then task phase data. So these three steps we have to do basically. Okay. So these are the step we have to follow for creating the, you can see, graph, creating the DAG. Okay. So in this example, basically fetch data, process data, and store data are the Python function. So they have their own individual, you can say, task. So each task is defined as a Python operator. Okay. So as we can see, store task, store data defined as a Python operator, their ID, their Python collab, their DAG, similar to process data, similar to fetch data. Okay. And so then dependency between the task are enabled using bit shift. So this is operator where we are defining, like this is dependent on, this is dependent on this one, and this is dependent on this one. Okay. So this operator like we are giving this task should complete first, and then this, then we have schedule and monitor also. Once our DAG is defined, Airflow can be scheduled either to the specific interval, like 10 hours, 20 hours, every 10-20 hours, or we can do it manually. And in Airflow we have a web interface also, web interface where you can monitor the task status of task, you can view the logs and visualize the task execution, so it is in which state and all. You can see the errors also from there itself. Okay. So these are the things we can do. So basically we are using this Airflow with nowadays, that is everywhere in production they are using, because that is the open source. And in complex things also you can do it with the help of this particular DAG, so that's why we are using DAG. So if we have multiple pipeline, we have dependencies of task, we define the step, then we can, with the help of Python operator and DAG, we can just, for every, you can say, for multiple, for a single task, suppose there are 10 pipelines required to execute, then the task should be completed, then we will define a single DAG. Under the DAG we will import the Python operator, and for each task we will define the operator, and then we can schedule the DAG using bit shift, and then you can extract, like you can orchestrate your workflow. So that is the help of PySpark. Okay. Thank you. Thanks.